From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building dreams with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best. Take the prize.
From the battlefield to the boardroom, this is DogTags to Ownership, the podcast where veterans share their journeys from serving our nation to leading in business. Hear inspiring stories of grit, growth, and the entrepreneurial spirit that drives those who've served to succeed. Tune in and take the first step towards your own mission in entrepreneurship.
Military One Percenters, welcome to DogTags to Ownership, where once a week we interview veterans who charted a path towards entrepreneurship. Here, our goals are to share resources, advice, and success stories about starting a business, discuss strategies for building financial independence and creating your own path, and most importantly, build a community to support each other through the challenges of transitioning from service life to civilian ownership. So today, episode 46, we have an action-packed episode, I would say. Matt says maybe too much. Here, it's our recap episode. We're going to recap episodes 43 through 45, provide our overall thoughts on those three episodes, some of the common themes that we saw throughout the three episodes. And then we're also going to get into what we have planned for 2026 and our strategic mission for Dog Tags to Ownership and some of the partnership opportunities that we're going to be able to offer to folks that want to get involved and be part of the Dog Tags to Ownership community or ecosystem, as we're going to call it. It's 3 great episodes. Those 3 episodes were episode 43 through 45, episode 43 with Waza Media and JR and Alex, and then episode 44 with Chaz Sampson of 7 Principles Group, and then episode 45 with fellow Citadel graduate Vivek Shah, who has 3 franchises with Sharky Cuts for Kids. He is a franchise advisor for Franzi, and then also the co-founder of Trauma Brace app. So all 3 great episodes, all 3 have a lot of things in common with each other. And I think the biggest thing with all 3 of them and what they had in common with each other is just the networking aspect and being connected to others and helping with that. So I'll get in first. I guess I'll start, Matt, with episode 43, Waza Media. And the big takeaway I saw from them was just storytelling and visibility. Waza really is a company that will help your company, your business with that storytelling and visibility from a digital media, digital marketing perspective, and really sharing your mission authentically as you build your brand, whether it's through your social media, your website, or just reaching out to folks to get clientele to come in. And, one of the things that they talked about too is they have, I would guess it's like 2 companies, maybe 2 verticals almost. One in Indonesia, that's where Alex is, and then the one here in the United States where really JR runs that. How they, use those 2 businesses or 2 arms of the business to help each other with it, and also help other countries and other folks who want to get into entrepreneurship really build their brand and their marketing space. So, but they definitely provided, I thought, a lot of insight on how to really get your content visible as a company and some of the things that you can do to help better your ability to tell your story and get visibility. Thoughts, Matt?
They were great. Again, I think the most unique part of their story was the fact that Alex is based out of Indonesia, living, working, so his whole family's there, and the fact that they're able to sustain such great communication lines back and forth, right, with him and JR and grow the business. I think JR talked about time change or like time zones and all that. And he was like, it actually works out really well with his lifestyle and his family and that sort of thing. So just being able to balance that. So I think if there's anyone questioning where, how, when they could create or do something, create a business, this is a great podcast to listen to demonstrate what lengths some of these veterans are willing to go to make their business operate efficiently. And again, leveraging a foreign market to continue with that business model that they have going on with media and marketing. Just a great story. I really enjoyed talking with them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the final key takeaway from them is just your story creates opportunity and visibility matters. And that's really what they talked about is And that's what they do to help some of those like service-based industry, is really help them with their story to create that opportunity and get that visibility. Like you said, Matt, great story, and how they're just running that business from across the country, across the world from each other. All right, so then get into episode 44 with Chaz Sampson of Seven Principles Group, and I'll let you talk about Chaz. You were fanboying on him.
I was a big fan of Chaz, and I think I said a couple times during the episode that we probably could have kept talking to him for hours longer. And he was so generous with his information and what he's accomplished, and to the point that he was very happy to come back on, which I think we would have to do in the future because it was just that good, And I think I said it during the episode, but probably one of the best. And I may have a challenge summarizing it because he has done so much, right? Like, I was like, is there anything you're not doing? And I think the one thing we came up with was not making his bed, but just about everything else, he is absolutely crushed. So what has he done? He's a licensed real estate agent. He's created his company to support veterans through the VA rating process. He is a sports agent. He is, I mean, what is, it was just kept going. So I can't do it justice. I just want to say, like, listen to that episode because it is so good. It is that good. I mean, it was an easy interview again because, I just, I didn't know where it was going to go next. It was like, what else have what have you not done, Chaz? So just a great story again, great episode. I think they keep getting better.
Yeah, and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say. So we had a comment on YouTube about Chaz in that interview, and what you're saying, Matt, and it kind of goes to that is they said, "Man, that guy looks really tired," right? And I was like, thinking about it, I was like, yeah, I would be tired too because of what you said, all the things that he is doing and what he has his hands in. And then he also has a newborn. So he is just, doing a ton of things, but really he's giving back to the veteran community and trying to help the veteran community. And I think that was one of the biggest takeaways for me with him. And then another thing that he talked about that I agree with is his anti-business plan mindset. And he talked about how you don't write a business plan, but it's going to go out the window like the next day. But he really looks at strategic visions and how that builds the foundation for what he wants to do next. And in the micro planning he talked about to get to that next step for his businesses and what he has going on. So I really found that interesting. Because we can all talk about business plans, but I think as military members or former military members, veterans, just strategic planning is what we do well. So how do you plan out where you want to be, and then just micro plan throughout that process as you get going? Really thought that was a great takeaway that I got from him on that. And then I think just to sum him up, and the key takeaway from him was clarity beats lengthy planning. Vision plus action equals momentum. So for him, like that's what he does, right? He doesn't have like lengthy planning processes. He just has that strategic vision, does some micro planning, but then that equals his vision and his action to build his momentum for all of his companies. And like you said, like he has a bunch of different verticals with Seven Principles. You said he's a real estate agent, but he's also a mortgage broker. So yeah, just a great episode. If you haven't listened to, take a listen. Episode 44 with Chaz Sampson. And again, that clarity beats lengthy planning, and then vision plus action equals momentum. And that's the takeaway from him. Then getting into the last episode for us to recap, episode 45 with Vivek Shah. Vivek is also a Citadel graduate, so go Bulldogs. Both went to Citadel. We got to talk a little bit about that. We're a few years apart, so we weren't there together, but it was good to talk to him about the Dell and his experience and my experience there prior to coming on to the podcast. But for him, another person doing a ton of things. He has his hands in, he has 3 franchises in Charlotte, Sharky's Cuts for Kids. I actually also looked them up here in DC, and they're the DC area, and there's tons here I saw. So great franchise for him there. And then he's also a franchise advisor for Franzi. And that's really how we got hooked up with him, is through Franzi. They reached out to us to come on to the podcast, and we're just very fortunate that they sent Vivek our way just to hear about all of the things he's done. And then I think the biggest thing for him with giving back to the veteran community is he's a co-founder of the Trauma Brace app. And that app is really a one-stop shop for mental health resources. And they're trying to get into the VA with that app. And, they did some beta testing at Duke, he talked about, and now Duke University is using that app. He's also trying to get it with first responders. So really trying to build that app and get it out for people to utilize if you need help with your mental health. It's a one-stop shop to find the resources and get those resources. So, and you can find it on their website and you can download it. So I just thought that was amazing what he's doing with that app to really help the veteran community.
Yeah, another incredible story, and his family moving to the United States when he was young, and he got exposed to an extent to entrepreneurship with his father, and talked about perhaps needing the Citadel to give him a little bit more discipline when he was younger. I think what resonated with me was his story about being interested in a franchise, but really finding it difficult to navigate that process. And, the reason he's with Frenzy now is because he can tell his story, which was not the straightest road or straightest path to acquiring a franchise. And really that's what Frenzy does, right? So it tries to pair you with the best franchise for your personality and your financial situation and your strengths and weaknesses and all that, right? So I thought that was really cool. And like you said, Julie, he's getting to that point of some extent of financial independence, and he's able to really focus on things that are truly important to him and making a big impact, and really, yeah, focusing on those things that will give him a lot of fulfillment, I think, and help others. So he's almost reached that point. So again, would love to have him come back on and see where that is at in his next mission a year from now or something.
Yeah, and with him too, I thought, like, you brought up the point of his family immigrating here from Kenya when he was younger, and his dad owning liquor stores and gas stations, and him getting to get that entrepreneur bug that he talked about. And one of the big things for him too that he talked about, and he told the story at the very end of the episode about just being able to sit there and watch his dad with the conversations and the networking aspect. And he said that that's the biggest thing for him when it comes to businesses and ownership is the networking and the connections that you make. I totally agree with him on that. The reason we have the podcast is for that, to build a community, to build that network for folks. And he just hit the nail on the head, I thought, when he talked about that. And I think that key message from him is just conversations build your network, empathy strengthens your leadership. And that's what he does, right? Like he said, just sit down and have a conversation with somebody, just see what they have to say, be present in that conversation, and by doing that, it's going to strengthen your leadership. He's just talked about the networking aspect of it and how that's really leveraged him to where he is today. And I think that really brings us into the second half of this podcast that we want to talk about, and that's our 2026 strategic vision for DogTags to ownership, and how we really want to expand DogTags to ownership and really build that veteran entrepreneur ecosystem. So Matt, first I'll give it to you for some thoughts, because I know that you have lots on this subject.
No, I mean, I would like you to speak about thy ecosystem of dog tags. Well, I think it's kind of interesting, right? With some of the themes and messages from the last 3 episodes, and how the initial idea being the podcast, and this going for about a year. We're closing in on a year. How that spins off into other ideas and ventures and things that I know you deeply want to accomplish, which is continuing to strengthen, build relationships in this community. Much like a lot of the guests that we've had on, taking it to that next step or next level, and really starting to network with a lot of these groups that we've come across in the last year. So, I'll push it back over to you to talk about some of the things we've got lined up for 26.
Yeah. So like you said, Matt, the initial thought for the podcast was to build a community. And I think we've been doing that. It's been amazing over the past year. Like right now we have enough podcasts lined up to close us out on 2020, and even to get us started in 2026, which I don't think either of us really thought that was going to happen when I first came up with this idea, and we listed out our first 14 people that we could probably reach out to get interviews. And now we're at the point where People are connecting us with others, or people are reaching out to us to come on the podcast and really building that community. And I think the next step for us with Dog Tags to Ownership is really building that veteran entrepreneur ecosystem. And I say ecosystem because really the podcast helps us connect that ecosystem together, but there's some things that we can expand to really help the community of entrepreneurs and those that want to turn their dog tags into ownership or already turn their dog tags into ownership. Some of those things that we're looking at doing in 2026 is our monthly Dog Tags Connects. Those are going to be monthly meetups, and they're really going to be for folks who want to get into entrepreneurship or folks who are already in entrepreneurship and are maybe struggling with something that they're doing with their business or just are looking for a new idea. But what we want to do with those Dog Tags Connects, they'll be virtual, but monthly meetups where we can talk about networking, talk about peer support, accountability, bring folks on with different backgrounds to provide insight on, just if you need help with financial planning, right, for your business, or you need help with financing for your business, or you need help with branding or visibility, like you're just trying to get your name out there. We'll bring those folks on to talk about that through that Dog Tags Connect and that monthly meetup. And a lot of it will be from some of the people that we've already had on the podcast as well to help with that.
That's what I was thinking as you were describing that. Like, as you're like talking about all those areas, like we have had those subject matter experts, those veterans on here that are so good in each one of those areas, that are literally experts in all of those fields. So I think it's just kind of a cyclical thing. It's like we bring them on, it's showcase their talents, and then be able to bring them back on again to be able to help others and share information. And maybe some of it's just them sharing with each other too, right? Like people that have already had success but are looking to grow or maybe go in a different direction. It's gonna be super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really pumped about it. And I think it will really help just build the community even more for folks and just be able to have that time to talk with like-minded folks and get those ideas from each other. And then the next thing is going to be our quarterly master classes. We're going to do. So the master classes are really going to be tailored towards a specific thing for that business. So it could be you're really interested in some of the VA benefits that are out there to help your business, or it could be what does being a veteran-owned business mean? What does being a service-disabled business mean? So bringing folks in from the VA or other government organizations that help veterans with businesses, bringing them in to provide that insight on what it means to be really a veteran-owned business and some of the things that are out there to help you as a veteran-owned business or service-disabled business that you can utilize that you might not know that are out there. Yeah, because there is a lot of programs out there that people don't know that we've learned. And so that's going to be the quarterly master classes to bring those folks in to talk about the programs that are out there or the things that are out there for veterans to utilize.
Yeah, I know, I think when when we were still in Virginia, we were looking at trying to get one of the transition assistance program folks on the podcast to really kind of get into more of the specifics about what TAP offers and when to start and how it can benefit you in that process. And it is one of those things that it's like what you make of it, how invested you are in that is because or it could be a one size fits all and not really do anything for you. But for me, what it did was really provide that backwards planning and allow me to put all of those milestones on a timeline. And it made my transition process much easier. But again, you have to take responsibility for all of those steps along the way. So not to deep dive into TAP, but I think it would be great to have those folks on in one of those maybe quarterly master classes.
Yeah, and that's the idea and the thought for that is folks like that to come on and talk about it. And then the last thing that we're going to launch is going to be the ambassador program. So having past guests as mentors, and those folks are just, ambassadors to Dog Tags ownership. And if you're trying to get into ownership, business ownership, some different field, we'll have their contact information as an ambassador on the website. And you can reach out to them, and they're just there as mentors to help you along the way if you have questions. And you can always reach out to us, and we can link you up with those ambassadors as well. And then they also just help push the Dog Tags ownership ecosystem and brand to others to get out there. I guess so. Those are the three big things that we're going to launch in terms of next steps, building the ecosystem, and then partnerships. So we really want to get some partnerships going into 2026. We have 3 ways in which you can partner with us in 2026. You can become a mission partner. So you can come on the podcast, be featured on the podcast, have social media spotlights, invitations to events that we have. So that's the first level of partnerships is just a mission partner. The second level of partnership is going to be our community partner. So co-branded workshops, webinars, joint networking events, and then content collaboration. And then our third level of partnership is just going to be that impact partner. So sponsorship recognition, annual summit branding, and then co-development community initiatives. So I will say, Matt, I think I got Katie finally. She said yes, we can have our first annual Dog Tags to Ownership Summit. I think we're looking for the October timeframe for that. And I think we're looking at the Kansas City area to have that first summit. And like I said, the October timeframe, and that's really to bring everybody together. So it will be there'll be some classes with it. There'll be, folks can come and sponsor, but also have booths set up to talk about their business and how they can help others. But it's really going to be a time for networking. And maybe we'll give out some awards and things like that. But we are going to be able to do our first annual Dog Tags Ownership Summit. And like I said, that will be in the October timeframe. But for us to do that, we need the partners to come along with us. So if you're interested in really helping us build Dog Tags to Ownership in our ecosystem, like I said, the 3 levels of partnership. So mission partner, community partner, and impact partner. And reach out to us if that's something you're interested in, and we can give you more details on that. That's our strategic vision, taking a playbook from Chaz Sampson and not really having a business plan, but having that strategic vision and then how we're going to update that over time to really build Dog Tags to Ownership in 2026.
Yeah, as you were again talking, I'm envisioning the summit, and I mean, like, how cool would it be to have a lot of our past guests coming on? It'd be like a Dog Tags reunion, right? Just we've had so many incredible folks as I'm going back, and I know we'll do like a yearly recap, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but so many talented people, so many people willing to give back and help others. I think that has been like the most consistent theme is as successful as a lot of these people are, their willingness to continue to help others and help veterans and do all that has been like the overarching message. Do you want to talk about what you're going to do for the Army Navy game?
But yeah, so Army Navy game going up there. So on Friday before the Army Navy game is going to be the 4th annual Warrior class. It's hosted by Patrick Murphy. There you can get tickets. It's going to be at Johns Hopkins University.
Who's
And
Patrick Murphy?
Patrick Murphy is the former Undersecretary of the Army. He
Mm.
is he was in the 82nd JAG officer, and then he does a ton of stuff now. Has businesses, consulting. He's also on the Yahoo Finance podcast. He runs that, and just a great human, great person. So I'll be up there for that, doing some interviews with the folks that he's bringing on and other business owners that are going to be there, and we'll have a bonus content episode from that. Really looking forward to that. And then Army Navy game, going to that, and also going to be going around with the podcast and talking to folks from the Army Navy game about their business ownership and what they're doing now to really help launch our ecosystem and for 2026 and what we want to do. So 2 great opportunities that I have coming up, Army Navy. It's December 13th in Baltimore. If you're going to be in the area, reach out to us. Let me know. I'd love to meet you, love to talk to you and bring you on just for a quick little spotlight. And then can also talk to you about our partnership opportunities in 2026. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up, Matt. We're pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, full year. It's 26 is looking good.
It
I don't
is.
know. 25
Yeah.
was fun. My closing thought will be, not that you asked, but I had our new neighbor over last night. His name's Brad, and he's an Air Force veteran. And I told him, I was like, the best part about this podcast is getting the opportunity to meet the people, in my opinion, meet the people we've met, have the conversations, pick their brain, let them, drop all kinds of knowledge and give advice. Cause that's been the best part, staying connected, sharing information. And again, just the willingness for folks to support each other. So it's been great. It's been fun, especially as I've transitioned from military life to civilian ownership. It's been it's been great just staying connected. So looking forward to 26.
Same. But we still have the rest of 25. We still have some great episodes that are going to come out for the end of 2025. We thought this is a great time to go ahead and start getting out the message for what we want to do in 2026. And we will do a year-end recap at the end of 2025 of everyone that we have interviewed, brought on, talk about the things that we've learned over the past year of being a podcast, transitioning from being a podcast together to virtually. So just been a great year, like you said, Matt. And I think we've both learned a lot, and we really want to push DogTags ownership in 2026 further and really build that community even more so. And like I said, just build that DogTags ownership ecosystem for folks as we move this forward. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank everyone for listening to us, following us, reaching out to us, all of those things. And we just hope that as we get into 2026, people want to partner with us and we can do more to really help the community. So I think in closing, go back if you haven't. First, listen to episode 43 through 45, 3 great episodes, all talk about really the branding, the marketing, and the different opportunities that are out there. All 3 of them did that. And then we just invite you to be part of our ecosystem and be part of DogTags to ownership and help us continue to grow this mission that we have. Military One Percenters, whether you're brainstorming your first business idea, already running a company, or just curious about where to start, DogTags to ownership is the place for you. Please hit that subscribe button to receive all new episodes. Also, if you know someone who has turned their dog tags into ownership, drop us a DM on social media or tag someone. We are always looking for new guests to bring onto the podcast. And as always, Military One Percenters, thank you for your service. Let's continue this journey and working together to write our next chapter. Until next week, keep pushing to turn those dog tags into ownership.
From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building trains with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best.